While the crowd was pressing in on Jesus and listening to the word of God, he was standing by the lake of Gennesaret. He saw two boats there alongside the lake. The fishermen had disembarked and were washing their nets. Getting into one of the boats, the one belonging to Simon, he asked him to put out a short distance from the shore. Then he sat down and taught the crowds from the boat. After he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put out into deep water and lower your nets for a catch." Simon said in reply, "Master, we have worked hard all night and have caught nothing. But at your command, I will lower the nets." When they had done this, they caught a great number of fish, and their nets were tearing. They signaled to their partners in the other boats to come to help them. They came and filled both boats, so that the boats were in danger of sinking. And Simon Peter saw this. He fell at the knees of Jesus and said, "Depart from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man." For astonishment at the catch of fish they had seized him and all those with him, and likewise James and John, the sons of Zebedee, who were partners of Simon. Jesus said to Simon, "Do not be afraid. From now on, you will be catching men." When they brought their boats to the shore, they left everything and followed him. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Beloved brothers and sisters, in our readings today, we encounter three important stages in the spiritual life. Three important ways that we can begin to live a life filled with the presence of our gracious God. The first step of the spiritual life is what we call the action of God. Some spiritual masters refer to it as the inversion of grace. The inversion of grace. The second step in the spiritual life is the acknowledgement of one's sin. And the third stage in the spiritual life is call to mission. Our readings, the first and the second, the first and the third, even the second, have a lot to teach us about these three steps to the spiritual life. The prophet Isaiah, in Isaiah chapter 6, the prophet recounted his call to ministry, recounted his vocation, the story of his great experience with God. And in the gospel reading from Luke chapter 5, verses 1 to 11, we see also the call of the first disciples of Jesus. What happened when they were called? So anyone reading Isaiah chapter 6, verses 1 to 8, can also read Luke chapter 5, verses 1 to 11. They have similar messages for us. Going back to Isaiah, the scripture said Isaiah was sitting in the temple and he had a wonderful spiritual experience. Isaiah recounted the time and the how. Very important. It was during the reign of King Uzziah. Isaiah came into the temple and he sat and he received a wonderful mystical experience. Saw God on his throne and the garment of our God falling down to the earth, which shows what we call transcendence of our God who is there and our God who comes to us, immanence of our God, the farness of our God, a distant God, God who is close to us. And he heard the voice of the angels, cherubim and seraphim, singing joyfully, holy, holy, holy Lord, Sanctus, Sanctus, Sanctus. What will we do at the consecration? And it has been revealed by mystical people who had mystical experiences that during Mass, when we sing holy, 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 that multitude of angels will surround the altar. Very interesting. Isaiah did not request this experience. It was God who did what he wanted to do. It was God himself who invaded the prophet with grace, filled him with a wonderful grace. The spiritual life, our life with God, does not come because of ourselves. God, as Paul indicated in our second reading from 1 Corinthians chapter 15, is by his grace. It is not by being qualified. It is not because we are good. We can only make available this experience when we begin to recognize the presence of God. It is him who will begin the work of God. And we see that also in the gospel reading. Jesus decided to go into the boat of Peter. Jesus did not take any permission from Simon. Peter did not ask Jesus to come in. What he did was to continue to look for his well-being and the well-being of his family. He was in a mood of desolation and he was invaded with the grace of our God. Jesus came in and began to give him command. Jesus came in and began to tell Peter, do this, do this. Our God will always begin the mission with us. Our God will always come. But there must be a cooperation with our God. You must do something. You must cooperate. Peter said, Master, as you have said so, I will do. Jesus told him, Duke, go deeper into the sea. Put your net deeper. Many of us, we are still living in shallows. Jesus wants us to move deeper into the spiritual life. to go deeper into knowing him, loving him, and serving him. Very important. Many people are still on the periphery. They have not decided to go a little bit deeper, to know God a little bit more, to read my Bible a little bit more, to say my rosary, to make time for my God a little bit more. Let me make efforts a little bit. Go in. Jesus said, go in. Peter did complain. Peter said, we have toiled all night, but we have not made any success. And we can say that I've been trying. I've been trying to be happy. I've been trying to have my peace. I've been trying to overcome. I've been trying to make it. I want to be successful. I've been doing my best. I've been working so hard. When we do all this and Jesus has not come, we cannot have life in abundance. Jesus said in John 10:10, I came that you may have life and have it in abundance. And the second step in the spiritual life is the acknowledgement of one's sin. When you are filled with grace, when you draw closer to God, then you will recognize your sinfulness. I remember when I was to be ordained a priest in 1995, and we had a retreat. And the night of my being ordained, my spiritual friends there were there, because when we were in the seminary, we had a little prayer group. They were there, and we were praying. And I started crying. Weeping, because I was thinking, am I worthy to do this? Am I worthy to be called? Is it possible? I started shedding tears. And my friends came and said, Ben, it is well with you. This is a manifestation of the grace of God. And this is very important in the spiritual life. When you draw closer, when you begin to love God, you will discover the little things in your life. If you go to confession, it is a sign that the grace of God is in you. When you don't see your sin, Peter said in Luke chapter 5 verse 6, depart from me, for I am a sinful man. Isaiah said in Isaiah 6:8, Lord, I'm a man of unclean lips. Because they were filled with grace, they were able to recognize their unworthiness. Acknowledgement that you are not worthy. That's what happens with our confessionary. When we go to confession, it is because you have grace. That is what is moving you to recognize that you need to be more clean. You need to be more worthy. You need to do something because our God is with you. When you go to the light, you see how well you look. That's why we use mirror. You go to the mirror, dressing up, you have to go. And then the mirror will tell you, Father Ben, you have to, there is something here, there is something here, there is something here, there is something here, so that you don't scare the altar servers when they see you coming for mass. Then Father Ben will do this. I will get myself ready so that I don't scare you. The mirror helped me because I'm closer to the mirror. I see myself as I am. If you don't go to confession, you cannot recognize that you need God. So if we have not been going to confession, something is wrong. Maybe you feel that you are perfect, you don't need any improvement in your spiritual life. And after that acknowledgement of sin, what happened? Then Jesus told Peter, now you are to be a fisher of men. Do not be afraid. That was what my spiritual friends told me that night, do not be afraid. That was what Jesus told Peter. Do not be afraid. Now you will begin to be a fisher of men. You will now get souls for God. You change your profession to a vocation. It's no longer what you want to do, but what God is going to do in your life, as Paul indicated in our second reading. And Isaiah, then the Spirit said, God said, whom shall I send? Isaiah said, Lord, send me. He was ready to go for a mission, to serve the Lord. You receive, you give to others. You receive, then you are now prepared to share with your brothers and sisters. So, beloved brothers and sisters, think about these three stages in the spiritual life: the action of God, the acknowledgement of one's sins, and the call to help others, so that somebody can say, you are my spiritual mom. I learned how to say the rosary. I learned how to read the Bible because my mom and my dad read the scriptures. I learned how to go to mass because somebody helped me. It is your work to do that for our younger generation. And today, as we usually do every second Sunday, do not be scared. We have our DDF promotion. Only second Sunday of the month. The way we can continue the mission of God here in our Diocese of San Bernardino, you are doing excellently well, my dear brothers and sisters. And the Lord will continue to reward you abundantly as we thank you for your dedication and generosity towards the DDF 2018. You did excellently well. The parish did excellently well. You accomplished so much, and we would like to share the progress with you at the open house on Sunday, February 24th. After the 12:30 Mass, the gift shop will be opened, and we'll do open house for Faith Formation Office. You will see what you are doing for God's church. Thank you. Then our DDF goal this year is 125,300. The amount we have received, it started this January with 11,999. And we have this shortage. It is still too early. The problem I have is in 2016, 801 persons made pledges. In 2017, 808 people made pledges. In 2018, 779 made pledges. So 2019, we have only 102. Well, we are starting. So please, make effort to make your pledges. What you wish to give the Diocese of San Bernardino, the church, this year. Please, let us make effort. If you have pledge cards in the pews, you can fill your own pledges. What you did last year, you can do it this year, or you can increase it. But don't, fail to do something for the Diocese of San Bernardino, and whatever goes over, we will use it for the development of our parish. Towards the end of this month, we are going to have the handicap door access. Please, we thank you. We will have second collection. Prepare yourself, and said, with this, I will continue to respond to the mission of God here in our parish community. Once again, and I thank you. And this morning, I thank you in a very special way. We had a very wonderful outing last night. You made Sacred Heart proud. You made the angels joyful last night through the dinner. Many people attended. If you couldn't make it this year because of one circumstance or the other, next year, February, we will all be there. You know what happened? I danced. Father Julian did. Deacon Ed left on time because he had early mass and Father Ed. But the ministers danced. We danced for almost 1 hour or more than that. So next year, get your dancing shoes and come. so that the joy of the Lord will always be our strength. Once again, thank you for all you do for Sacred Heart. Un aplauso grande. Thank you so much. May the Lord continue to bless you. May the Lord continue to be with you. May the Lord continue to bless our Sacred Heart family. Thank you, thank you, thank you.